easier.
Yeah. Actually, there is a poem I wrote about Iceland.
Yeah.
I found it. I can share it with you
Yeah,
if you want.
do it. Go for
it's just
it.
a brief little one, but I got back and I had to write about it.
Nothing wrong with that.
I was kind of thinking about what an island is, what makes an island interesting as opposed to a continent.
Yeah.
So it's called Iceland's Borders.
Right.
Iceland. From here, you're nearly a non sequitur, whispered in a busy hall, and it is such a busy, bustling, assertive hall. But I entered your whisper, spent a month with you, and survived your violent landscape. Is that why your people, so peaceful, grow together like weather-beaten birch? Have the frosty gales and molten mountains sucker-punched the blood boil from their bellies? Does your emptiness absorb the fist before it's thrown? Or is it the water that makes them stop their human rage and instead turn to salting cod? Is it that we need borders as thick as oceans so no stone tossed may reach across? I lived in your whisper, the elf land. So pure of blood are your children, so pale and unblemished, and familial, enjoying the sameness only an island can afford. Come closer now, you tell them. Hear my whisper, share this fish, and take the oars, and meet in my waters that separate and connect.
I can see a lot of the things that you were talking about already come out of that.
Yeah. I think that for Iceland, and you'll probably hear the same from the people, the waters that separate them from other countries have an enormous amount to play in the psychology of the people and in the peace and the familiarity of it all.
Yeah.
You know, it's so different from Israel and Palestine.
Yeah.
Right?
Marginally.
You can shoot a missile over the border and that's it.
Right.
So I would love to hear once you're back or while you're there, sort of what you expand upon from my ideas or what you
For sure.
delve into that's original from yourself. But so many good questions. Yeah.
Right.
And so little explored compared to Paris or Costa Rica.
Exactly.
Right?
It's a lot of opportunity.
I mean, if you think about history and how in the entire history of Iceland, in terms of people living there, and there were no natives before the whites came, which is very unique, different than Greenland.
Yeah.
There have never been more than 1 million Icelanders in existence.
Right.
Whatever that means, it's interesting.
Yeah. There's so few.
Yeah, so few.
And it makes it more of a recent culture too.
Yeah, on the one hand, it's extremely ancient, and you can go to Viking houses that literally are 1,000 years old and they're still standing. With, 5-foot thick walls.
Yeah.
On the other hand, you're right. It is very clearly established when people settled. I think it was the late 700s AD. Eric the Red and his lot came, and what happened afterwards. So the historians love it. Whereas it's tougher to figure out what happened in Greece with all the different cultures marauding, and it's older too. Yeah, you're right.
I wonder what part that has to play. Research.
And then there's the language, which I know very little about. My mom took classes, and that says a lot about them too. I'm sure that there's devices in their language that say a lot about their character. Maybe they don't have words for certain things. I believe that one of the ways Icelanders say goodbye is translated as "go happy," which is very sweet.
Like the Eskimos have 48 words for snow or whatever.
Right.
That little tidbit is
right.
just I wonder if the Nordic Heritage Museum has Icelandic classes that I could take.
They do. That's where my mom took them from Margaret.
Because I
They're
should
not
show.
cheap, and they're not easy.
Right.
But if you know simply one phrase,
And how to pronounce it.
Skemmtilegur, you know, it's someone who's amusing. The Icelanders will love you because nobody really tries there,
Right.
so you'll stand out.
That's one thing is I wanted to actually try because I always find it not rude, but it's more respectful if you actually go into someone's culture trying to like learn about it, respect it, all the aspects of a culture, including the language.
Yeah.
And trying to be part of it like that.
It's sort of a step beyond trying the haukarl and gagging at the ammonia taste of the fermented shark. It's actually taking the time to learn.
To get invested in a place instead of just passing through and
Right.
looking at it.
Right. So you might think of it as, oh, I'm traveling there for 3 months, and in a sense that's true. Or you could change your outlook and say, I'm going to live there for a while.
Yeah, because the past couple places I've lived, I've only lived there for 3 months, and I considered it living.
Right.
Like when I lived on the farm,
Right.
in Snohomish for 3 months, and I lived in Queen Anne for 3 months.
Right. So another person I want to connect you with, I believe he's still there, is my buddy Craig Downing. I met him through couch surfing. He loves Iceland so much, I think that's why he's still there. He's just a freelance videographer, does a lot of cool stuff, good-looking guy, and basically one day said, hey, anyone from couch surfing who's interested in riding scooters, come talk to me. He had worked it out with the owner of the scooter business that he would create a little advertisement of people riding her scooters around town for her if she let us ride the scooters for free, and I think even paid him a little.
Yeah.
So we got to ride scooters all day.
That's fantastic.
The little penguin brand.
Right.
Or the puffin. Yeah. So I'll connect you with him.
Fantastic. I really appreciate that. I was looking into getting like a bike or a motorcycle, just renting it even for a week or whatever. But since it is an island, everything is imported and it's so expensive. Even just renting something like that. And I'm trying to see if there's an Icelandic equivalent to Craigslist, but I haven't quite found it yet.
I'm sure there is.
I'm sure there is too. It seems to be, even if there's like a classified section of the newspaper, but there's a language barrier that's going to be there, so I need to figure out how to address that.
And then couch surfing is really useful. It'll be interesting to see. Maybe it's grown since last year when I went, but my experience was that in Reykjavik, couch surfing is wonderful.
Yeah.
A little bit in Akureyri, and nowhere else on the island do people use it.
No, I was looking at it last night, and everyone was from Reykjavik. There were maybe like 3 people that were still on the west side of Iceland.
There is one more person that can connect you with in Akureyri, Beatka, and her boyfriend or husband now, I don't know.
Yeah.
She's Polish, but they live in Akureyri. We couch surf with them last minute. She's great.